14 years, he's competed in 30 fights, compiling a record of 25-5, including a 6-3 record spread out over 2 separate runs in the UFC. He was the first and only light heavyweight champion in the history of the IFL and challenged Tito Ortiz for the UFC light heavyweight title at UFC 33. He will be competing at UFC 129 in Toronto, Ontario on April 30th. He is Vladimir, the Janitor Matyushenko, and he is our guest today on Split Decision. Welcome, Vladimir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure of mine.
First question, Vladimir. You've been part of the UFC during 2 different eras. Your first run lasted 5 fights from 2001 to 2003, and you're currently been with the company since 2009. What differences have you come across during your second tenure when compared to your first go-around with the UFC?
I think UFC didn't change much as itself, but I think they're trying to put the best shows over there throughout the years. But I think the biggest change for me is the public perception and you guys media. It's the fans are awesome right now, and just interaction with it. It's been great.
Absolutely. Do you see more fan recognition when you're out and about in the public now than you used to?
Yes, definitely, and it's not just personally my recognition. It's MMA in general. I think MMA become more mainstream sport.
Definitely. All right. Now, you've been competing since 1997, and you're 40 years old, and you've seen a number of fighters lately that simply haven't been able to remain successful in the later stages of their career. So first off, what can you attribute your success to? And secondly, what motivates you to continue on in a sport that for the most part is being dominated by the youth generation?
Okay, well, good question. It's kind of the first question answer my second one. I think the changes to the better in the public perceptions of towards MMA, it's changing. Now it's one of my main forces that drives me forward. I think right now it's fun to do it, and actually I've been proud to be all this, of MMA society, if you put it that way.
For sure. Now, for the second part of the question, what have you done to continue being successful in the later stages of your career?
Well, to me, it's like learning different skills and adapt to it. It's just like learning different language. When I came to the United States, I didn't speak any English, and I went through, kind of hard times. And the same thing in fighting. You have to learn, and it's a total new sport. It's not wrestling. It's not kickboxing, but it's something new, and you have to adjust to it. You have to learn and accept, different things and create new things. That's I think important thing.
Definitely. Now, one thing, I was looking over your fighting record, and since 2007, you fought pretty much 3 times a year, with the exception of 1 year. Could you attribute this to your ability to stay competitive and staying active?
Well, first of all, I think 3 times a year it's a good good number because you're able to stay away from injuries and recover faster. And I like to do, if it's less, I think mental aspect is getting lost a little bit. So if you fight just once a year, it's not enough to be sharp. And I think I'll just stay away from injuries and become smarter with recoveries and stuff like that. When I was young, I didn't really care much about it, but now I have to be healthy.
Alrighty, let's jump ahead to your next fight. Originally, you were expected to face your UFC 129 opponent, Jason Brilz, back at UFC 122. So how much preparation had you done for Brilz prior to 122 before he was dropped out as your opponent? And when you started training for him again in preparation for your fight at UFC 129, did you just pick up where you left off, or did you make some changes?
Well, yeah, like you're right. I was training for him for my last fight a few months, and then I was replaced with somebody. And after years, when they told me I'm fighting again, I continue with him. Nothing differently, nothing changes. Working on my overall skills. Because again, may change. Anything can happen. I may fight somebody else again.
Absolutely. That's always one thing with the fight game. You got to stay on your toes. Now, another thing is, you see you share a number of different similar opponents with Jason Brilz, most notably Rogerio Nogueira, Tim Boetsch, and Elliot Marshall. When preparing for a fight with a guy like Brilz, do you go back and review these common fights, and how much does this play a role when you're creating your game plan?
It depends who you're fighting, and with Brilz, definitely, you can see some things that he does over and over again. But he haven't fought almost a year, so it's going to be, his old fights are kind of old, so it's kind of hard to tell because he may come up with something new.
Definitely. Now, talking about him, he's most successful when he gets his opponent to the mat and turns the fight into a wrestling match. Now, I've seen you've been training with Anthony Hardonk, and your stand-up has been improving quite noticeably. Do you think this could be like the deciding factor in your fight?
Yeah, definitely. I want to show my striking skills, not only to fans but also to myself. I want to prove that I've been training a lot with it. I just want to, show it in the fight.
Alrighty. Now, should UFC 129 go as planned, I was looking, you're currently 1-1 with Rogerio Nogueira. Would you push for a third fight with Little Nog, or do you have another opponent maybe you have your eye on?
No, yes, definitely. I don't like to walk around with a loss on my shoulder, so I think the rubber match it's a good idea, and it's good for me.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Nice, nice. Hey, Vlad, this is Ryan Ventura. I just have a few extra questions for you. You have a son named Roman, and he's an aspiring MMA fighter himself. What are some values that you want to instill into your son going into pro fighting?
More hard work and more, how can I say, the new generation's kind of, being lazy. So MMA, to be good, you have to train really, really hard and, train for a while to be good.
Mm-hmm. How many fights has your son had so far?
Well, he just had one fight so far, but he doesn't fight right now. He's in the Air Force, in the United States Air Force, and in a few years he will be able to fight again. So.
Oh, right on, right on. Now, you fought in many apparatuses in your career. What do you prefer personally? Do you like the ring, or do you like a cage better?
I think cage is better. I think it's more, more stable and secure. When you get a roll under the ropes and the ref brings it in, and a lot of times position change and stuff like that. So I don't really like that part of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, having fought in 30 professional fights, are there any fights that you can wish you can go back into time and do it all over again?
No, I'm just looking forward. I learn from my mistakes if I can, and just looking for my next fight.
Awesome, awesome. Now, this is my favorite question to ask people. If you can fight anybody, they don't have to be a professional fighter. They can be famous, fictional, historical character. Who would you like to challenge to fight, and why?
No, I'm a professional fighter. I don't like fight for nothing.
No, well, for example, I actually did another radio show. I interviewed Cain Velasquez, and when I asked him the question, he wanted to fight Genghis Khan. What's another good one? Another fighter that I talked to, he wanted to fight King Kong. And another guy I asked, he wanted to fight Homer Simpson because Homer Simpson can't be knocked out.
No, I never thought about it. I have to give me some time.
Okay, no problem, Vlad. Now, when you're not training or fighting, what does the janitor like to do in his spare time?
Well, I like to play golf. I like to go fish. Actually, a friend of mine has got a sailboat. I like to sail. I like to go shoot the guns. I like to snowboard.
Nice,
I like
nice.
outdoors.
Nice. You like to hunt?
Gardening. Right now I got my garden.
Oh, gardening.
I have my
Wow.
little tomatoes in my home, yeah.
Wow, I never knew that the janitor liked to garden. Nice, nice. Now, could you tell us about your VMAT gym and why people should train there?
Yes, I have a gym. It's in El Segundo by LAX Airport in Los Angeles. It's a nice little small facility where we prepare the fighters to fight, and also we have kids classes and women's MMA and stuff like that. Why people should do it? I think it's a lot of fun, and it's good for you.
Wonderful. Thank you for the time, Vlad. Before we close out our interview, is there any sponsors you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my Alchemist, first of all, my management company, and Jack and Hayabusa.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vlad. Good luck on your fight coming up this Saturday, and all the best in your future.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Vlad. Take care.
Thanks.